Uh-oh.
I just went on the world's cheapest date. When I tell you, I'm so sick of the brokies that are coming through my DMs, but I just got to get into the story time. So, this guy asked me out for a date today, and I pick a spot near me because what do I look like traveling on public transportation for this date, right? So he comes, the place happens to be closed, so we're walking trying to find another restaurant, which is like my pet peeve. He rolls up in a bicycle, not a car, a bicycle. God. So I'm looking at him like, I'm in a skirt, I'm dressed up. He's in sneakers, shorts, and a bicycle. What, trying to work out? So of course I try to find the other restaurants. Every restaurant we go to on the street, he looks at the menu. If it looks a little bit too expensive or too bougie, he's making excuses like, oh, I'm not really feeling pizza, right now. It's maybe a food truck. Let's try a food truck. Where are we gonna sit in a food truck, sir? Where are we gonna sit? Like for part 2, because I have a lot to say about this.
He pulled up on a bike?
He pulled up on a bike with like bike shorts and dirty sneakers, and I was in heels and like a long skirt and makeup and hair and everything. I was like, are we going on a date? Where are we going? I was so confused.
Was it like one of those bikes with the little pegs on the back where you could kind of hop on? Or?
Like a cool bike? It was like a regular bike. No cool features.
So did that date end there?
No.
Should have.
I should have, but I know. I was like, let's see where this goes. So he has me walking all around the city in heels.
So you're walking and he's biking next to you.
He's like walking his bike.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's walking the bike.
He's walking his bike next to me. And every place we went to, he was just like making excuses, which I know obviously he didn't come prepared to pay for a date clearly, or even to pay for himself, because we went to like reasonable, we just like walked around the neighborhood, went to reasonable spots. We even sat down, the waiter like gave us our menus and walked away like, I'll be back with your drinks. And he's like, 20% gratuity added? Let's get out of here. I'm not paying 20% gratuity added. I was like, okay. So then we walk around the corner. He's like, oh, there's like a milkshake shop. Let's go in there and get a milkshake. So we're in line for the milkshake. And he's like, oh, stay in line. I have to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. As soon as he went to the bathroom, I ran like a half a mile away from there because I was like terrified of like trying to tell him I'm not feeling this. Like, I can't do. I had so much like anxiety at that moment. I just ran. That's all I could do.
He gets on his bike
and I ran away. I physically ran away.
He gets on his bike and finds you.
Come back! You didn't pay for your milkshake.
Oh my God. And then I was like, sorry, I had an emergency. I had to go. And then he was like, oh, it's all good. And then like, I don't know, 20 minutes later, he sends me like a video of him at a fancy restaurant, like as if, oh, he just skipped the milkshakes and went to a fancy restaurant by himself. But quick tips, ladies and gents, if you save the video that someone sends you, it'll tell you the date that it was taken. It was taken like 3 months prior. So he tried to be slick saying, oh yeah, I paid this money today. No, that was 3 months ago and you probably didn't pay it. But anyways, yeah, that was a really awful date.
How do you get into these situations?
Hinge.
Hinge. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's what I mean. Like that's why I'm so particular about dates and my dating standards, because I'm running into foolish men, and I don't
brokies,
have.
I think was the term.
Broke boys.
Brokies.
Yeah, they're brokies.
Sometimes brokies are like the sweetest.
That's what they got.
If I wanted to just
like
a
they
sweet
will do
guy, for
anything
sure.
to just
except for
put
take
in
you
the
on
effort.
a date.
I mean that, but like
they're
great
for friends. They can't pick you up. What do you mean?
I know that's
question for you. So I mean, you're 27. Obviously, look, you're looking for something serious. You're looking for something long term. I don't think it's abnormal to want to find a guy who's. I mean, that was the traditional order of things. The guy's the provider. Get it, right? When you were in college, though, for example, did you go to college?
I did.
Were you a bit more flexible because obviously guys in college, they're not
1000%.
Okay.
If I were to find someone, if I found my husband in college, for example, I would be more than happy because we're both in college. We're both starting our lives at the same level. So he might be going to college to be a lawyer, doctor, and engineer, and I have an education too. And so it's very different when you're talking about and you're in college, because you're both starting at the same level and you're both on the path to success, because you both are, getting your education to further your goals in your life and your career. But I didn't find anyone in college, and so my dating preferences had to change with the times, because now I'm an adult and I pay my own bills and things are a lot different. So I'm expecting a little bit more than I would if I was a college student. So for sure, if you're in college, I would have different standards for that.
Although I'm sure there's probably even women in college that even then they don't want to deal with.
For sure.
They'll date an older guy.
Oh yeah,
for
of
example.
course. I
They'd
mean,
rather-
that preference.
Yeah, sure.
If we were smart, that would have been what I would have done.
Earlier in the show, you said you're, I don't know if you said super traditional, but you said so traditional. You're very traditional.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I guess here from the guy's perspective, right? So when it comes, and I said, and we didn't really get too much into it, but like, for example, and I think she mentioned it before, I don't like to pay on the first date.
Okay.
Obviously, look, I'll split the bill. I know a lot of women don't like that. That's fine. Although I'm starting to kind of slightly shift my view on it. And I don't recommend men do it because a lot of women, you're going to lose a lot of women.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not even a money thing. For me, it comes to more a principle thing. And this is why I brought up the traditional thing. So, you know, you earlier in the show, and look, I get it. You live in LA. This is the way a lot of people move nowadays. You said you have 5 guys on your roster. So me, if I went on a date with a girl and I knew that she was entertaining like 4 or 5 other men, I would not feel particularly inclined to fall into my traditional gender roles. Like I would be like, okay, you're talking to 5 other guys. Like I don't feel like being a gentleman in those circumstances.
He
And
doesn't
so
know that.
Your testosterone
He
is
doesn't-
broken.
He doesn't know that
My
I have 5 other
testosterone's
guys.
broken?
Yeah, because that usually.
What do you mean, like a competitive thing?
Yeah, well, biologically, like, I mean, obviously there's going to be, it's going to be a spectrum, but biologically, like, that's what you guys are do. You guys go, you compete, you scavenge, you find, you solve. Like, by nature, that's what you do. You may not do that. That's very much you. But by nature.
Well, I think you're misunderstanding a little bit, but
Okay.
But it's, to me, it's not like if I find out or I learn that a girl is dating a bunch of other men, or she's, I don't know what your situation is, but certainly if a woman is sleeping with other men.
Oh no.
No.
I didn't say
like,
that.
Not
multiple-
saying that.
well, but so you're dating 5 guys. I mean, I don't know if you're open to sharing this, but you said there's a 1 month guy, there's a 3 month guy. Are you hooking up with
Nope.
No.
3 months? Nothing?
I mean,
Come
because
on.
it's not.
There
Well,
would be
yes,
A little
I'm,
something.
Oh, a little
Little
something, a little something.
Little something,
Little
something.
foreplay.
No, because
The
for,
bleachers, underneath the bleachers? Okay.
No, I feel like even though it's been 3 months, I've only seen them a handful of times. So it's not like I'm seeing
how
them
many
every day.
times?
Like I'm on date 3 with one guy, and I've been seeing
Well, the
him
3
for like
month-
the
3 month
the
guy.
3 month guy maybe 5-6 times. Like it's
Still
not.
no bedroom fun?
No.
Nothing.
No.
You don't want it. He doesn't want it.
I mean, I feel like at this point I'm really.
Is that too soon?
I think
Too
it's
soon?
for me. I like. I'm not saying that. Obviously, do what you want. I'm not really into being frivolous with my body when it comes to sex. So I feel like I really do need to be in like a serious commitment, like committed relationship before I
Right.
would even like go into that direction, I guess. So I feel like for me, it just I want to be in like a solid relationship before I like do all that kind of stuff.
Let me ask you a question. If the 3 month guy, you said what, you're on date 5 or 6 or something?
Yeah.
If he came to you, he was like, Gabby, I really like you. You're awesome. I love spending time with you. I feel like we have a good connection here. This is date 3, right? And he's like, listen, I want to be exclusive. I want to be boyfriend, girlfriend. Would you go for that? Or is that, you're still or are you still
Maybe.
feeling
I
that?
guess it depends on like how true that statement is, how honest this guy is. Like I said, because I've been through, I've like dated so many different types of men. I know that like I don't always believe what they say, like kind of watch
Sure.
their actions. So like if I really believed him and he's shown and proven himself to me that he is like consistent and he's serious about being exclusive with me, I don't need to date any other guys. It's really up to the guy. And like if I haven't seen you more than 5 times in 3 months, that's not really on me. I'm available when you're available, but that's like, you know, we're working, we're doing things. I get it, like people are busy, so I feel like it's just really up to him when we get to that point.
The 3 month guy, though, has he asked you on dates and you haven't been available?
Yes.
And is that because you're dating 5 other men? Because I mean,
No,
earlier on in
no,
the
no.
conversation, though, you did say that you'll schedule out dates, you know? So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, could the fact that you're dating multiple people impact the ability for anyone? Because if a girl's busy and you don't have as much free time to like have a more consistent meetup and you are dating multiple people, I feel it can, while you are keeping your options open and potentially trying to get the best guy that you can get, I feel like when you are dating multiple people, it can make it difficult for any one situation to move forward
Yes.
because you're not like giving as much time to that one guy because you're going on other dates. You're busy.
Yes, I agree, and that is a con or a dilemma to a roster when you do get too busy for a guy that may be serious about you.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I've really I don't feel like a guy's been that serious about me to where I feel like I need to give him all my time and energy. A couple of times I feel like a guy has, you know, swindled me into like not talking to the other guys as much because he's talking to me every day, FaceTiming every day, making me feel like, you know, he's putting in all of his eggs in my basket. And in that case, I do kind of like neglect the other guys on my roster because this guy's giving me so much attention. But so much attention only goes so far, because if you're not taking me out on dates and you're not trying to see me in person, spend time with me in person, then I'm back to the roster life because this isn't going anywhere. It's just all talk. Like, when are we actually going to do some action? So I think that's why I kind of just, okay, well, I'm going to somebody else because like this isn't consistent. I'm available for you and I will make time for you. And back to your question when you were like, oh, well, what if, you know, you're too busy to see this guy who's really interested? I'm a very like organized person because, you know, I run my own business. I have my own brand. I'm doing a lot of things. So I don't really like same day dates. Like, of course, I'll make exceptions if I can. So typically I like to have at least 24 to 48 hours notice that you want to spend time with me so that I can give you my undivided attention, you know?
I mean, I agree with you there. I definitely think some people are very spontaneous, which in some times that's fine if you're available, but I do think it's best to try to at least have a bit of a plan, you know, because if you have a busy life, which it sounds like you do, then it's helpful to, hey, are you on a Monday? Are you free this weekend? Are you free Friday?
Yeah.
Type of thing. So,
And I'll make time for sure.
but just to go back to like our little back and forth, kind of why one of my hesitations with paying for the first date is I don't want to fall into my traditional gender roles if a girl is like entertaining a whole bunch of options. I think it's not that hard to date one person at a time. And I think while there may be some negatives to that, I certainly think the positives outweigh it. I think it's more likely to actually lead to a relationship if you might feel a bit more upset if you're just dating one guy and it doesn't work out, whereas if you've got 3 or 4 or 5 other guys or girls, if the same with men, oh, okay, it didn't work out with her, cool, I'm already talking to 3 chicks.
I see what you mean.
I think that,
But I do think it does restrict things from proceeding to more serious places. I almost feel like you can, this isn't exact, but you can't smell it. You can't smell it. But like if somebody's attention is divided, it just, you feel that. And it like, I don't know.
I think there's something to be said about trial and error though. So you've reached something that works for you. It works for you to date just one person. I don't know how these ladies feel, but normally women, because the way that we are biologically made, we will date one person at a time. And dating coaches now are telling us as women that we shouldn't be dating just one at the one time. We're putting all our baskets because the way our time clocks biologically are different than yours. So us giving you, just like she had said earlier in the episode, giving 3 to 6 months to this guy, 3 to 6 months to this guy, 3 to 6 months to the guy, that's now a year, 2 years, 3 years that our uterus is just getting older. We have to protect ourselves. And if you want babies and you want a family,
the old uterus problem, yeah.
But that's something we have to take into account. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the way I used to date, was one time. But then what happens is then I'm head over heels for this guy. I'm giving him my attention. That's not how men normally date. Men don't normally date one person. They normally date many. So now I'm head over heels for you. I like you a lot. You're dating a lot of girls, and now I'm giving you too much attention. So now you back off because you already know you got me. You're not really interested in me anymore. And now I'm stuck really liking you, and I have to pull myself back to you. Then when other people, I'm not even thinking about them because I'm focused. I'm trying to work.
Into the mic.
Sorry, I'm focused and I'm trying to make something work. It's like, if I pull myself out of it a little bit and really allow people who are interested in me to step up and show me that they're interested, then no matter what, the way I am, I'm very monogamous. I'm going to be drawn to one no matter what. That's why I said that I'm slightly different than having a roster. I'll entertain someone for a certain amount of time, but once they reach a point, like there's a guy that I actually was really interested in. And he just stays in my DMs, and he never wants to ask me out. And the one time he ever asked me out, he asked me out to a general place. It was a bar with a lot of people. I come, and I actually was bringing Gabby. He is on me like white on rice. White on rice. He's like, now I'm his girlfriend. No one else can talk to me. No one else can holler at me. He's basically, and I even told him, I was like, why are you doing this? Like, this is literally our first time hanging out. Did you not get numbers before you rise here? He's like, yeah, I got some Instagram. Okay, so why are you doing this? And I literally told him, I was like, you do all this talking in my Instagram. You never ask me out on a single date, but the minute you get me out in public for people that I know, okay, and LA is very small. I know people. I know them from left and right. You're hanging on me like a freaking wet rag. And now I look like I got a boyfriend from someone who literally can't even take me on a date. And I had to restrict him. You can keep talking to yourself in my DMs because you ain't about shit, respectfully. You want to waste my time. Good mornings. Love the ice skating video. Looking sexy here. You know I really like you. I just saw him when he was walking. He was going into the gym an hour away from, anyways. He's going to the gym. I'm leaving. Oh, Misty, I can't believe I see you. You blocked me, didn't you? I have you unrestricted. Why'd you do that? Because you don't talk about shit. I told him that to his face. I told you don't talk about shit. You're literally my DM saying, hey, how you doing? Jazz night. Love that video. That's not getting, I even told him, ask me on a date. Let's get to know each other. Let's get to know each other. I'm actually attracted to you too. You're not about shit. I gotta let it go. You're wasting my time. That's not a roster. That's an annoyance.
Brian, I
Word.
think